And welcome to the Geeks, and Just Podcast YouTube channel. This is a show called What You Doing? We talk about what we watch and play during the week. I am your host, Enterprise, and I'm by myself this week. Come here to talk to y'all about everything I watched. I think I'm going to recommend almost everything that I watched this week. I watched a bunch of cool shit. Let's start like we always do with the murder corner. Hell yeah. Starting first, that's the only murder corner thing I watched this week. It's pretty old. I found it on Netflix. Now you know that I'm just searching for this shit at this point. It's called Inside Criminal Minds. It's from 2018. This is kind of what I've been wanting. I wanted to answer as to why all these crazy fucks are crazy fucks. And this show tries to touch upon it, but I don't know if they do a good job. Because it left me wanting more. First episode is about serial killers and how they all have, they basically bring everybody, like lump all of them together and like, oh, this is what they had in common. They had lack of father figures. They came from broken homes. They had lack empathy. They all had paraphilia, aka they had sexual fantasies, and they would do things because it was a sexual fetish. I did get some snippets of Gacy, like it does throw hints as to the famous serial killers, what they did, what they, what's their story a little bit. They didn't go into full detail as I wanted to, but I did get a little bit from Gacy, Bundy, Dahmer. The narrator's a little, and the narrator and the dramatization of the killings, because sometimes they have like an actor doing it while they're, like serial killers are like chill out in the wild, but then, and he's like hunting this lady. It's a little cheesy, but they always end with the question, are we born this way, or is this stuff that happens during their lives that make them go that way? So the first episode is serial killers. Second episode is kidnappers. One thing I did learn from the kidnapper one is, y'all know Stockholm syndrome. That's like when you are empathize with your capture or empathize with the person that is inflicting harm on you. So you justify what they're doing and you basically let them doing it. It's called, the origins of its name is Stockholm syndrome, because bank robbers and hostages from Stockholm, I think in the 80s, after so many hours of being locked in there, they start to feel empathy for the robbers. Kind of like a John Q situation. Y'all remember that movie with Denzel? That's the first thing I thought. The third episode is cult leaders, and obviously we talk about Manson. We talk about Reverend John Jones, I think it was called, something Jones. And they were talking about this whole town that this fool massacred and why people follow him. And the last episode is crime lords, and we got Capone in there. We got Gotti. I've been talking about Gotti for a few weeks now. El Chapo, shout outs to El Chapo, I guess. Pablo Escobar, and their main thing is that they're all narcissistic. And they came from poor upbringing, and once they got money, they want to give it back to their people, and they were revered. Honestly, I've been in this like psychopathic craving a little bit, and I thought the show was gonna scratch that itch, but it didn't. So expect more murder corner stuff. I did want to give Felix. I want to review Felix's review. I think it was last week. He talked about Shadow in the Clouds, the Chloe Grace Moretz movie. I watched that also. It's okay. A few months now, he talked about Love and Monsters. That's really good. You should go watch that. I'm not gonna review it because he did already, but I really loved Love and Monsters. I thought it was original. I thought it was cool. I thought it was great. Fantastic. Love and Monsters. I really liked that. Like, I would buy that movie. I really liked it. I think he undersold it in his review. But what I am going to review for y'all is something that I said that I was going to watch on the pod. Bubbles didn't believe me, and it's Palmer. This is the Justin Timberlake movie on Apple TV. So it stars Justin Timberlake and this cute ass little kid named the actor's name is Ryder Allen. So the story is that Justin Timberlake gets out of prison and he goes back home to his grandmama's house, and it's a trailer park and grandmama lives next door to this really broken, messed up lady and her child, Sam, little boy. The little boy is, they say different, but it's not different, it's whatever. The little boy is flamboyant. He's very colorful and he's fabulous. I don't want to say he's gay because they don't say that he's gay. So I'm not gonna assume his sexuality. I don't know, because they do make a point in the movie. He's hanging out with Palmer, aka Justin Timberlake, and he's like, "Oh, that girl likes you," and the little gay boy's like, "He's not gay." The little boy's like, "I don't want to marry her," but he doesn't say "ew" or anything, so it's unclear. But he likes fairies. He watches all this thing, fairy show on TV. He wants to be a fairy for Halloween. He's very flamboyant. But the premise is that Justin Timberlake gets out of prison, goes to mama's house. The little boy's mama fucks off, and Justin Timberlake and his grandma are basically stuck with the kid. Stuff happens. Justin Timberlake is stuck with the kid, and it's basically a darker Big Daddy. Y'all remember Big Daddy? Adam Sandler, where he like teaching the kid stuff. It's kind of like that. You mixed in some LGBT stuff. You mixed in bigotry, because this is taking place, I think it was, I can't remember where they're from, but they're in the South and they're in the country, and Justin Timberlake can play a country boy, seeing as he's from Tennessee. He can play a country boy pretty well now, and I think he has a couple sex scenes in there. Justin Timberlake, very good for you. Justin Timberlake's character, his name's Eddie. That's what my grandma calls him. His grandma called him Eddie only, strictly. Everybody else gets to call him Palmer. I thought that was cool. Shout outs to Grandma Jane. There's one scene, I don't cry in movies at all. There was one scene that had me, the fucking tear duct was full, but it didn't come out. And it was a little boy, because the little boy's cute as hell, man. And the little boy, he innocent, he just living his fucking life, man, and everybody from that town is judging him and giving him shit, and he's being picked on, and it's a bunch of bullshit, homophobic bullshit, ignorance, and the little boy is so cute, and he there's this one scene where he's just crying for Justin Timberlake, and it was like, holy shit, Jesus Christ. Although from the trailer you know exactly what you're expecting from this movie, you know exactly where it's going to go, you know exactly what's going to happen, I still enjoyed the movie. The little boy is probably MVP. He's cute as hell, as I said. Justin Timberlake performances was legit. He was great in it. He was really, really good. I wasn't bored at all, even though the premise is like I said, it's a darker Big Daddy. I know where it was going. I thought the movie was pretty good. Palmer. And I've seen ads for it all over the place. It's a little tougher to find because it's on Apple TV. So if you don't have Apple TV, I don't know. Maybe Netflix will pick it up in a year or two or so. I'm not sure. But I really, really liked Palmer. So, shout out to Justin Timberlake. He cool. I'm a fan. Let's switch up some gears and let's go to Netflix. Is this the only Netflix thing? Oh no, the last one's Netflix. I watched Space Sweepers. This is a Korean movie on Netflix. I was like, oh, man, I don't want to read, but I don't want to dub it. You know what I'm saying? But it takes place in Earth 2092. So the Earth is dying. And there are these orbit planet thingies up in space called the UTS, where there's a whole society of things up in space and people flying around in space. But Earth is dying, so only a few can go up to space. And there's different parts of space, which is like the hood, and then you got it's like all ghetto, and it's all dirty, it's all nasty. And then you got like where the guy who invented the UTS, he's chilling, he's the creator of his Eden. It's all nice, but we follow the main guy, forget his name, we follow this little band, this crew. They're Korean. We got the captain, who's a lady. We got our main guy, who they're all poor. They're trying to do stuff for money, and what they do for money is that they fly around space collecting space trash. They basically come and recycle it, and they get money for that. But because it's the space, everything is open. You got Russians going around, you got Americans, you got Spaniards, you got Mexicans, you got all kind of people from all over the world fighting for this. So the movie is not 100% Korean, which I liked and I appreciated, and I can't think of any movie that implements so many languages such as this one did, because there was all kind of languages. There was a Chinese guy, a Chinese crew, there was a Korean crew, there was a Espanol. He was talking Espanol for a second. There's American, the Russian guy. There was all these different accents. And you're like, okay, how can they talk to each other? It's because it's the future. They have a earpiece, an ear translator. A translator. They have a translator thing in their ear. So whenever someone else speaks their different language, they get to hear things. So even our main Korean guy, he's mouthing Spanish at one point. Because what happens is during the space thing, they find this children. They find this little girl. And on the news, they're like, oh, this little girl is very dangerous. She's a bot. She's going to explode. Watch out. So then you got this whole chase of the police looking for her. And then other people, this other organization called the Black Fox, I think it was something like that, looking for her because she's a weapon. And you're like, oh, shit. And then stuff starts to unfold. Basically, space pirates fishing for debris. They find the little girl. The little girl sets things off. She's an android. She's a weaponized bomb. But then the little girl starts to do magic and start bringing things that are dead because the Earth is dying. They're trying to cultivate this little tomato plant in the spaceship, and she brings it back to life. And people are like, whoa, what the fuck? It's kind of obvious who the bad guy is, but I'm not going to spoil. But I feel like the bad guy, he cheesy and goofy, and it was weird. I don't know if it was his performance or just the way the character is written. I really like the main guy. I forget what his name is. I should have wrote these down. The little girl, again, MVP, the children, she was great. She was funny. She was farting all over the place. They call her a fart machine. There's also a really cool robot, part of the crew. And the robot's goal is to buy like a skin to be a person. And that was really cool. It's very charming. It's very colorful. It was entertaining. I did fall off for a second because it is over 2 hours, but I still wanted to know what's going on because I'm not really familiar with Korean cinema. I know Old Boy, I know Parasite, I know that's about it. So those movies, those endings are pretty shocking or pretty heavy, or they stick with you. So me knowing that Korean cinema doesn't necessarily follow American cinema tropes, I didn't know whether or not our guys were going to win or whether or not people were going to die. I don't know if they just don't give a fuck, and so I did not know what was going on. Unlike 90% of the other things I watch, you kind of figure out where it's going. But I thought it was charming. I thought it was probably a little too long. I thought it looked pretty good, actually. I thought that the robot there's fights, there's shooting, there's pew-pews, there's all kind of things in this movie. It's funny, it's witty. You do have to read because the crew, like I said, is Korean, and that's our main focus. That's our crew right now. But each character is different. It's cool. They each brought something different to the crew. It was great. I thought it was really, really good. I really recommend a lot of people to go check out Space Sweepers. I thought it was great. I really, really liked it. Could have been a little shorter, but it was great. I really, really liked it. All right, breezing through this shit. I got these last two movies. I haven't been playing much. I've been playing Assassin's Creed, but I need to finish it so I can move on. I can't just pick something else. I'm sorry. Anyway, stop mumbling. I watched The Little Things. This is starring Denzel Washington, Rami Malek, and Jared Leto's son. So this movie takes place, it says in the beginning, October 90. So it's in the 90s in California. I think it's California because Denzel is not retired. He's like a sheriff from Sacramento. I could be making all this shit up. I don't remember. But he is tasked to go to LA to go get some LA or San Francisco to go get some go pick up some evidence that he needs for this case that's going down in Sacramento. He goes over there. That's like his old stomping grounds. He's trying to get in and out, and then it starts to unfold, and you start to learn who Denzel is, why, what's going on. So in LA, you got the hotshot detective played by Rami Malek. He's like big shit, talking in front of everybody, and Denzel's like trying to shut him up in front of the press, kind of by using somebody else. So there's like hotshot versus old head cop bickering, kind of like, oh, what's good, and hey, what que pedo. But the movie starts to show you who Denzel was, and he was a detective. He was the hot shit from LA, but this one case got away from him, and it's been driving him crazy. Then because he's the hot shit, he starts to see similarities in a case that Rami Malek is investigating on over here. Similarities to the same thing he was looking on, so he starts to feel invested into the case that Rami Malek is currently working on, of a series of murders. Now Denzel's character starts to get obsessive, and he's just like, okay, I need to figure this out. And that's the big deal. He lost everything by going in all in this his last case. So you start to see how his wheels start to turn, and you start to see how Rami Malek start to turn, and then it's like a buddy cop movie trying to solve this case. Where Jared Leto comes in, he is the prime suspect. Now, it's not a spoiler alert really, because it's in the trailer how they kind of see him, they find him, they interrogate him, they catch him, right? So the whole movie is basically trying to figure out whether or not Jared Leto is just a crazy fuck, or he did this series of murders. And I thought the performances was good. Denzel's GOAT. Like he can't do bad even if he tried. Rami Malek's, I said this when we talked about the trailer on WATCHA DOIN. The way he's talking, the way he sounds, he kind of sounds like he's got like a John Malkovich slur to him. Not slur, like he's slurring his words a little bit. He sounds weird to me. And Jared Leto's in a fat suit, and he's got a prosthetic nose and looks creepy as hell. But his performance of what that character needed, he did a good job as well. He's just there he's basically pissing these fools off. Whether or not he did it or not, it's a spoiler alert. It's a spoiler. I'm not gonna spoil it. But I was intrigued the whole time. It was a little under 2 hours, I think. I did want to figure out what's going on. Denzel does say the title of the damn movie like 14 times. Oh, it's the little things. It's the little things. All right, Denzel, I get it, bro. It's the little things. Shit. But yeah, I like the movie. It was pretty cool. Denzel can't miss, man. Denzel don't miss. I'll give it like a 7. It's not the best thing he's done, but I was intrigued. I was glued to the TV. I want to know what's going on. I'm trying to figure out whether or not he did or not as well. They did a good job. Nothing blew off the screen to me. It's just like, oh, like it's a cool story. Paying attention. I liked it. The little things. Maybe give it a shot if you're into those kind of movies. And to close out the What You Doing this week, from one Washington sir to the next, and I'm talking about his children in John David Washington, I watched Malcolm and Marie. This is also on Netflix. It stars Denzel's son, John David Washington, and Zendaya. I've said it before. I've gotten into fights. I've gotten comments about it. I don't know what it's about in Zendaya. I just don't. I don't like it. I don't like her. I don't care for her. It's not that I don't like her. Or I hate her or anything. I don't like her. I don't care. 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 Can I not care? Because I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. A lot of people care. Hella people care. Edward, hi, stupido. I don't care. I don't fucking care. Okay? I don't see what she's so great about. I didn't get it. I don't get it, right? Oh, no mames, she did. Hey, me, yo, I don't fucking care. But she killed it, dog. She did a fucking great job. It's just them two in the whole movie. And the movie is about John David Washington is a director. They're coming home or coming to this house after their premiere that he felt was a success. So he's chilling. He's like, fuck yeah, let's celebrate. And then Zendaya got her Zendaya face on, which is the same face she has through the whole both Spider-Man movies of like, I don't give a fuck. And it's like, okay. So they're together, they're a couple. And he's on high, he's singing to her, he's doing all these things, and she's not into it. And they start to fight. It's a couple fight. It's a couple movie. They start to fight, and then they make up, and then they fight, and then they make up, and then they fight, and then they make up, and then they fight, and then they make up, and I think they fight and then make up again. They're basically, it's a roller coaster of fighting and making up for a little over 2 hours. It's pretty sexual as well. He's literally kissing her ass at one point. She's wearing a tank top, and you can basically see her nipples. And the movie does a good job as to using that for something. Like, she's not just naked just because she's naked, even though she's not naked. The movie was used her body that way to prove a point. But the first fight is because he didn't thank her in his speech at the premiere. That's just one of them. And then that goes to another thing and another thing. Like I said, it's very happy. It's like you're inside a couple's worst night, like they're fighting each other bad. The things that they're saying to each other is very, very heavy, and it's each time one of them goes off, there's so emotion and there's so much passion, you can fucking feel it. And it's not like, mama, fuck you and your mama. No. It's like they're taking turns in tearing each other down to the core, and then they separate. It's like the end of a round, and then the one comes back and does the same thing to the other one. And then in mix between that, there's also a commentary on filmmaking and critics and the business, because he's a filmmaker. It's just up and down volleyballs. Like I said, they take turns tearing each other apart. It's very raw. You feel it. Cinematic wise, there were like a few shots that I was like, I liked. There's this one where she's in a doorway because she's smoking, and he's in the inside talking to her, but he's pacing around the kitchen. So every lap that he does, it's following him. The camera does, from the outside of the house. And then once he gets to her, the camera stops and it stays on her. She's not talking. She's just smoking a cigarette. And then he goes and does another lap around the kitchen. And then when he comes back to her, the camera follows her. I don't know what's the name of that. I don't know. I don't study nothing. I'm a stupido. I just found that to be really cool. There's this other one where she's on a couch. Again, she's not saying shit. He's ranting about the business. He's talking shit about this critic that talks shit about him. But the camera, the shot isn't moving. JDW is moving. John David Washington. He's coming in and out of the foreground. I thought it was great. There was a handful of shots like that it's just like, whoa, it looks cool. And it's all in black and white, which somehow enhances the drama and makes it more raw, if that's possible. I didn't think I was going to like this movie because I have that whatever on Zendaya. But I was like, okay, I got to give it a fair shot. I don't think she's like this tremendous actress, but she held her own against John David Washington, which I do believe is a great actor. So she did a very good job. And this one, I got to give her props. Good job, Zendaya. Malcolm and Marie. I watched it by myself because I'm a single guy. Was good. Shout outs to all my single loners losers was good. How you done? I'm curious if you watch this with your significant other, whether or not you pick sides, because I was on his side the whole time. It was like, bro, like, la estás cagando, like, pinche vieja, right? I wonder if the female or a lady or anybody else takes her side, because it could be one-sided. I feel like it's one-sided. I'm not sure. I'm curious about that. But Malcolm and Marie on Netflix, very cool. It's only them in the whole movie, and the movie takes place in one night. Everything happens in one night. They fight all night. They wake up next morning. That's the movie. Tan tan. But everything that they said each other, the passion, the acting, I thought it was really, really good. Shout outs to them. I would even say that JDW, John David Washington, did a better job than his daddy in the little things. He's a great actor. I'm excited. I feel like his career is just starting. I'm excited to see him in more things. And Zendaya, I mean, you do you, girl. What? You did a good job. I don't like, but you did a good job. Anyway, I'm gonna get the fuck up on out of here. That's what I watched this week. Leave a comment down below what you guys been watching. Shout you out if I watch something that you guys recommend. And yeah, maybe I don't do this by myself next time. I don't know. Who knows? Stick around. I love you guys. Always and forever. You to you. Peace.